Hello, Dave Morelli here. Welcome to another Tactical Advantage. Today, Bohica, bend over, here it comes again. We've been getting this weather every day now for the last week. We're gonna do our practice session inside the shop today. I'll show you my dry fire exercises. We'll go inside where it's nice and warm, and we'll do some dry firing. Got all our plowing done. What we're going to do today is a practice that I call dry firing. Dry firing is very important as far as sight alignment and trigger control. What's great is you don't have to expend any ammunition, and you can do it almost anywhere. Number one, biggest thing. I like to do dry fire practicing when I'm at the range, okay? Because just before you start shooting, you got your target set up, you can do a little dry fire practice just to get your trigger finger kind of working right or warmed up. The reason why I like doing it at the range, you're guaranteed a good backstop because you're going to be shooting there, so it's a good backstop. If you're going to do it in the house or in the shop like I'm doing here, because it's bad weather or because you just don't got a place to go and you want to practice a little, a good, safe backstop. Remember our rules of firearm safety. I've got a target here and it's on this door. This is a solid steel, it's a steel door and it's a fire door, so it's pretty solid. I probably wouldn't expect a bullet to go through that door. If it does, my shooting range is on the other side. There's nobody there except the backstop. So I consider this a safe backstop. That's rule number one. Rule number two, make sure you have an unloaded gun. I'm gonna use this Delta today, and before you start bitching at me about pointing the firearm in a direction that I don't want to point it, there's no one behind the camera. So I'm trying, sometimes it points different directions just so I can show you what I'm doing. So this one here, it's unloaded. This gun will shoot with or without the magazine, so there's no reason to put a magazine in it. You just need it to shoot. So we know it's unloaded. We have our target there. What's nice about this gun also is you don't have to pull the slide back to cock it each time. Now I know it's unloaded, I've checked it a couple of more times, looked down the barrel, everything's good. You can start from the holster if you like and practice your draw. Pull your handgun out, drive it towards the target just like you're taught. Take your safety off and very carefully, while keeping the sight aligned, drop the hammer. Okay, now we've already done all that racking and stuff. We know it's unloaded, so all we have to do is cock it again. What's nice about dry firing is when you the trigger finally goes forward, or the hammer goes forward, or the firing pin goes forward, it's not shooting. So if you are flinching, you'll see it. You'll see your gun go down, you'll see it go to the left, you'll see it jerk. That means you need to pay a little bit more attention and take your time. Pull the trigger slow. When the hammer falls, it should be a surprise. So I'm going to turn the camera around here so you get a better look at that. Okay, basically I'm going to make sure all you can see here is the firearm. So we've got our hammer back. We can be safe. Check it again. We're good. I'm lined up. I'm lined up on my target. I watch the muzzle of the gun. You don't see it move. I usually do, when I'm doing a dry fire practice, I'll do maybe 20. Sometimes I'll do 10. But you want to make sure every one is just like this. So when you pull the trigger, there's no movement in the muzzle. One of the things you can do, they tell me you can do this with a dime. I do it with a penny because, like, I'm poor. So anyway, put a penny on your muzzle. This one doesn't have a flat muzzle, so it's even a little tougher. Do your line up. Take your shot. And the penny doesn't fall off. So that tells me that my muzzle isn't moving when I pull the trigger. So we talked about before, and I'll see if I can make a better shot of it. When you line your finger up, you want the meaty part of the tip of your finger to be on the trigger. You can see it's not too far. You don't want it around, and you don't want it way back here. You want it to be right on the face of that trigger, and so when you pull the trigger, you pull it straight back, and watch my finger. Straight back, okay? That's what you're trying to do. So I'll do a few of these. That's all there is to it. I mean, I do it out in my shop, and I have this target. That target's on the door, it stays there. I have another handgun here, and this one's a Smith & Wesson. Again, this one will fire without the magazine. So, I'm checking it. It's good. And we're going to do the same drill. To recharge this, you just got to pull back a little bit. You don't have to pull it all the way back like you were going to eject a round or something. And then you'll have another. Like I say, if you're doing something wrong, now this is good. I'm going to jerk this. If you're doing something wrong, you're going to see it. You're going to see the muzzle move. Side to side, back to back, whatever, because you don't have the recoil. So that's all there is to it. Again, 90% of the time, or most of the time, if you have a miss, it's because of a trigger jerk. Okay, so a couple other rules. When you unload your gun, unload it in another room. Put your magazines, your full magazines. If you need a magazine to make the gun work, get an empty magazine. Put all your ammunition somewhere else. Another room is good. I can't do that here, but I can put it on the other side of the shop. So, and that's another reason I don't like, a lot of people do it in front of the TV. The problem with that is we get lazy and we put our ammunition down on the coffee table in front of us. We don't want that ammunition anywhere. We want no ammunition whatsoever. So go to another area or a place where it's quiet, where there's no other people, and you can concentrate on your trigger pull. Rule number 2, we're done now, okay? I just did my 10 or 15 trigger pulls, or 20, or however many I was gonna do, and I lined my sights up perfect. I wanted to show you something too on lining the sights up. It's hard to show on the, here's what you want it to look like when you're looking down your sights. If this little red spot is where you want the bullet to go, this clear one is your rear sight, and this one's your front sight. That's how you want it to be. You want the top of both sights to be level with each other. You want the same amount of light on both sides of the sight when the gun finally discharges. And that's what you're looking at for that. So now we're done, and we're going to load up and we're going to leave. Okay, we're done. Do not do one more dry fire. Most of the accidentals happen with this is guy gets all loaded up and he kind of forgets what he's doing, and he's talking and he's doing stuff, and one more time, and that's when he puts a hole in the door. So when you're done, you load up, reholster your gun, you're done. No more. So dry fire practice, it's a good way to practice your trigger control, your sight alignment, use a target, good backstop, and when you're done, you're done. Another thing that I do, I didn't do it here for the camera, it's a good idea to put your ears on. If the gun goes off in this closed area, it's going to ring your ears. So if you do make a mistake, it's a good idea to have your ears on. That's another rule that I like to adhere to. I didn't do it here for the camera, should have. And when you're done, you're done. So do your dry fire. It'll improve your trigger control. You'll start seeing tighter groups on the target when you do your circles practice. That's it for now. Dave Morelli. See you next time.